Hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the Practical PM, your friend, philosopher and guide to product management. We are starting exactly where we had left episode 7, so I would request you to watch it if you haven't, or if you have watched it long back, then please rewatch it. You would remember from the 7th episode that we were using Mixpanel for demonstrating how event analytics works, and that is what we are going to continue to do. And like the last episode, since I'm demonstrating using Mixpanel, I'll be looking a lot at the laptop in front of me and not at the camera, so don't worry about it. The laptop is projected on the screen here for you to follow along. So specific to Mixpanel, we had seen how in this sample dataset, complete purchase is an event that is fired when the user makes a purchase on this e-commerce platform that this sample dataset is supposed to represent. So if we plot this event and plot total number of events, we get the total number of orders placed in a specific period. We can also draw a line chart here, which is default, to see the number of orders on a week by week, day by day, month by month, quarter by quarter, or even hour by hour basis. If instead of total we plotted unique, then we would have seen number of users placing the order, again with same kind of visualization for whatever period we have selected here, over week by week, day by day, etc., or even just the total over the period with a bar graph. Now that the recap is over, let's go back and explore a few more things. We are still sticking to this one event, complete purchase. Let's see what else we have here. We have something called total per user, where there are then different option of aggregating. By default it has selected average. So when we do this, what exactly are we plotting? We are plotting average number of this event, that is number of orders per user. Alright, and over what period? Over the period we have selected here, right? And since this is the bar graph, this is the aggregated number over this period. So over last 3 months, users have placed on an average 8.6 orders on this e-commerce platform. It is a very, very healthy business. I wish it were real. The founders and product managers will be super happy, right? If we don't want to see the aggregate number but want to see the trend over time, then we can switch back to the line graph. Now this is week by week, so what it is showing is in each of these weeks what was the average number of orders placed by the users, and the number is consistently above 2 here. Again, healthy business on an ongoing basis as well, right? Alright, now let us see. Apart from average here, you could plot other things like median, these different percentiles, minimum, maximum, etc. These are all very useful. In this case, it may or may not make that much of a difference, but there are other metrics where plotting some of these will be very helpful for you. One thing I would like to plot here is distribution. So what it will then do is, it will look at orders per user, because we are plotting total per users, but not the average of that, but how the order per user is distributed. Okay, so now we come down, we are seeing last 3 months, and we are seeing this line graph aggregated weekly. So we are seeing this week on week number. The blue here represents all the users who in that week placed 0 to 5 orders. There were 22,802 such users. Yellow line represents 5 to 10 orders in the week, 2,457 users, much fewer as expected, and very few placed 10 to 15 orders, around 44 users. Now let us also look at the aggregate number just to see how they perform in the long term. So I will go to bar chart, and now this bar chart is broken down because we are looking at distribution. So each of these bars is of a particular frequency. So the blue bar here, highest is 38k users who have placed 0 to 5 orders in this period. 14k users placed 5 to 10 orders. This is a very good way to know what is the typical behavior of your users and how many users fall into different buckets here. What draws my attention here is there are these 3.6k users who have ordered more than 50 times in last 3 months. They are your power users, and you probably want to do something very, very special for them to keep them loyal to yourself, and probably also use them as your brand ambassadors to get more people here, because they seem to be really happy. Alright. So there are, like I said, these other things I will not plot here. You can just play around with it and see where it will all make sense. There is another interesting thing here under count users. What this lets you do is count daily active, weekly active or monthly active users. Now, how exactly to read this? If the event selected here is complete purchase and your definition of an active user is a user who has made a purchase, then this is exactly you want to plot if you want to know your active users. So right now I'm saying that my active user definition is somebody who placed an order. And so if I want to see weekly active users, this is what we will plot, and here we see the weekly active users. So currently in February 17th to 23rd week, we had 24,732 active users. In some weeks it was lower, here it was only 11,509 and so on. So similarly, you can also plot daily or monthly active users under count users. Now, this is powerful because like completion of purchase may or may not be the most meaningful active user definition for you. Maybe all you want to know is how many people at least browse your e-commerce platform, and that you seem to be sending an event called browse when they load a page on your platform or the site. So instead of complete purchase, I will look at weekly active user by browse, and then this changes here. Now the numbers here should typically be higher, but these are the numbers of weekly active users if our definition of active users is browsing, right? One last thing I want to show you before I move on to another analysis function is formulas. Before that, what you need to realize is that it's not like you are restricted to plotting only one event here at a time. You can actually add more events and see all of them at the same time. For example, suppose you wanted to see complete orders, that is total number of orders being placed, and you also wanted to see something else, say how many add to carts events are happening, right? So both of these can be plotted here together, and you can have a good visual comparison of this. You can also see the number of users and number of orders at the same time by repeating complete purchase, but instead of total, plotting unique in the second row. So these are the total number of users week on week for last 3 months, and these are the total number of orders and total number of users, right? What formula lets you do is when you are plotting multiple things here, it lets you plot a relationship between these different rows, right? For example, I'll just take a simple example, it may not even make much sense practically, but suppose you want to track every week the ratio of unique users making a purchase and total number of purchases made, right? So I'm trying to plot users by orders, right? I'll just give a name that makes sense to me, and here I can write the formula. How do I write the formula? These labels that you see here, right, these letters, they are actually variable names. So B is for second row, A is for first row. Since I want number of users by orders, I'm going to plot B by A here and C. Okay, so this is coming to a little less than 0.5, which makes sense because our average number of orders per week was a little over 2, right? And then you're not limited to just the division here. You can use all the arithmetic signs and combine them in complicated fashion. You can of course plot more than 2 things here and plot all kinds of complex formulas. There is more to explore here, but we will do that in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Do tune into the next episodes as well.